There is a kind of poverty that does not look like poverty from a distance. A swept floor, a cooking pot, a loom under a window where light falls without being asked. It looks like dignity. It is also hunger. This is the story of a widow who turned her hunger into a picture, and the picture into a life, and the life into a road that two of her sons would not walk. A story from old China. A loom, a wind, a mountain made of fire, a mountain made of ice. And a brocade so true to its weaver's longing that it learned in the end how to become the world. She had 3 sons and no husband, which in those days was the same as having 3 more mouths than help. They lived by her loom. They ate by her loom. Even the lamp at night belonged to the loom. One day at market, she saw a painting on silk. A great manor with bright tiled roofs, fields of millet, a pond with white fish, geese on a green hill, a garden where the flowers did not seem to know about winter. She stood so long the merchant grew nervous. When she came home, she said, "I will weave it." The 2 older sons laughed. The youngest only asked, "What do you need from us?" She said, "Patience, and 1 more bowl of rice a day." She wove through one winter and into the next, and then into the one after. Her eyes wept from staring at the threads, and the tears, the story says, fell into the silk and became pearls. When she pricked a finger, the blood marked the silk and became the sun. The 2 older sons grumbled. They said the loom ate more than 3 sons could earn. They said the picture was a foolish woman's stubbornness. The youngest sold firewood, cut reeds, did the work of 2, and never argued. 3 years passed like that. On the day she cut the last thread, the brocade lay across the room, pond, roof, geese, garden, everything she had wanted them to inherit, alive with a light that did not come from the window. She spread it out to admire for 1 full hour. It was the first hour of her life that did not have a needle in it. Then a wind came through the door that had no business being there, picked the brocade up like a sheet of paper, and carried it east. She ran into the road. She watched it shrink into the sky. Then she fell, and could not stand. The doctor in the village said her heart had broken in a way bodies do not always mend. She would die, he said, unless they brought it back. The oldest son tied on his sandals. The second son tightened his belt. The youngest stayed beside her hand. At the eastern road, a grandmother sat on a stone where no grandmother should have been sitting alone. She told them the truth, plainly, the way old women in stories give directions. The brocade has flown to Sun Mountain, where the fairy weavers study every cloth too beautiful to be earthly. To reach them, you must knock out your front teeth to bridle an iron horse. You must ride the horse through Flame Mountain without crying out. You must sail the icy sea without complaining. If you complain even once, you become stone where you stand. There is a chest beside me filled with gold. If you would rather have that, take it and go home. The oldest son took the gold. The second son, when his turn came, did the same. The grandmother did not scold them. She only watched them walk south, away from their mother, into a country that knew their faces. The youngest came to the same stone, heard the same words, and gave the grandmother his front teeth without asking what they were worth. The iron horse led him on. Flame Mountain burned his arms, his back, the soles of his feet. He did not cry out. The icy sea froze him until his hair was white in patches. He did not complain. The grandmother had warned him that the cost of arriving was simply this: do not let the journey hear you suffer. He learned the lesson the way the poor learn most lessons, not from a teacher, from a body. He arrived at a hall on a mountain that did not appear on any map. Inside, at long looms, sat women so beautiful the air around them looked embarrassed. They were not surprised to see him. They had been studying his mother's brocade for weeks, learning from it the way young painters learn from a master. They fed him. They warmed him. They told him he could take the brocade home at dawn. But one of the weavers, the youngest of them, sat up all night and quietly wove her own face into a corner of the brocade, small, half hidden among the geese because she had decided, watching the boy at supper, where she wanted her life to go next. She did not tell him. Fairy tales are patient about these things. He flew home on a deer the weavers gave him in parting. He found his mother on her last breath. He spread the brocade across the floor, and the floor stopped being a floor. The pond rose where the pond was woven. The geese walked out, honking and indignant. The manor stood where dust had stood. The fields ran out past the door as if the door had been a lie all along. His mother sat up, lifted, and walked into a garden she had only ever seen in thread. And from the corner of the brocade, the fairy who had hidden her face there stepped down into the world and stayed. The two older brothers came back in time, ragged and ashamed, having spent their gold on nothing the heart remembers. The story does not punish them further. It only refuses to give them a room in the manor. If you want a moral, the brocade is plain about it. What you weave with patience, the world cannot keep from you forever. Not the wind, not the fire, not the ice. Not even the brothers who would not walk the road. This was Forgotten Fables. Follow the channel when you want the next story the loud world forgot.